amazing DJs, the mix masters, all around the country, especially around He Nairobi. What's in a name? That's the big question. You get married. As a woman, you tend to, by choice, change your name. You could choose not to, right? You grow up, you look at the name your parents gave you, and you're thinking, it really doesn't talk to my personality. So then you go and you change your name, correct? To the kind of name that you feel is dope. Then if you have a name like, Phalaris Wamboy or Chikolawi, then what's the point of changing? Our parents clearly were creative, unless you decide to call yourself Rob, right? So what is in a name? Well, it depends, doesn't it? It doesn't really change you. It just changes what people refer you to you as. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, let me explain where I'm coming from. You know what they say, change, good. When you change your name, also good. It's as good as the rest. But as long as you stay true to yourself, and that's what AIG Kenya and NCBA Insurance have done. AIG Kenya is now NCBA Insurance. Same trusted expertise, now with the strength and innovation of NCBA Group behind it, right? So the name has changed, but the services have improved, if nothing else, because NCBA is now behind it already. NCBA, your go-to for asset finance, investment banking, and lube, helping you manage your money and grow your wealth. They are there doing the same thing that they have been doing, only for a bigger group and on a different level. They've notched it up. Now they're making sure you're protected as well by giving you that insurance, because let's face it, life happens. We know things come along that stun you, and it would be great to know that you're secured about that, and you can be free to do other things and worry about other stuff in your life to improve it and those that you love and care for. Visit this website, won't you? ncbagroup.com/NCBA Insurance today. Let NCBA Insurance take care of the what ifs so you can focus on what's next. By the way, NCBA Insurance Company Limited is regulated by the Insurance Regulatory. It's Capital in the Morning, Phalaris and Chico, and we're about to delve into quite an interesting conversation. Name? What's in the name? It depends. Behind this name, there is a wealth of stories. Willie Kimmani, founder of Jaza supermarkets, in a market, in a situation, in an environment where people are shutting down. In fact, just yesterday we had the CS Lee Kinyanju in the house, and he said, you can name companies that are shutting down, and I'll name you companies that are opening up and creating job opportunities. So that happens to be one of the men who's sitting right here in front of us. It's Capital in the Morning, like I said, and we're dealing today with resilience in retail trade and transforming retail businesses through innovation and expansion in Kenya's consumer market, ruthless consumer market, if I may say so myself.
Just before this, we were having a conversation with the man in studio, yeah? And sorry, I had a lag there because I was trying to just check on something. And Willy Kimmani here has a very interesting story, but I like drawing back to what the connection is with the people seated in this studio, Capital FM and Willy Kimmani. So, first things first, today is the late CK's birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday. We are all here because of what you built, and I have a deep respect for the man, for everything that he was able to do for the business community, having mentored enough people, you being one of them. Yep. So maybe instead of just following the formalities of what people would expect of an interview, where we just get to visit like, yeah, how did you start your supermarket, blah, blah, blah. I want us to start from here. What role did CK play in your life as far as you being a business person is concerned?
Thank you very much. First of all, happy to be here. And again, yes, formerly Willie, mine are now Willy Kimmani. So and a great moment, and happy birthday to CK. And there are great people who are out there, together with the founding fathers of this country, who came up with the great ideas. Now, if I can go even draw slightly back, you'll be shocked. The very initial Uchumi stores were actually created by the person behind it. Actually was the founding father, Jomo Kenyatta, together with a group of guys, and by the time they set up the whole new shop and all. But over and above that, in between our careers, and especially more so when I was in Tuskies then, CK had this great way of identifying what I can actually call talent.
Yeah.
And so CK, we are having a very in-depth meeting discussing the bottler. And at that point, I'm actually complaining, oh, Nairobi bottler is actually giving us the best service, but the other, whatever. And the guy starts telling me, no. One way or the other, I'm going to do, and I'm going to create, and we're going to make this one. And we started having chats and all sorts of things. And guess what? Even by the time CK was actually passing, he had already met his dream of actually collating all these bottlers out together. The man will actually come pick you up. He'll tell you about a product. This is why I want you to meet with Polycarp, the great Polycarp Igade, right now. He's and when Polycarp comes in, he's like, no. Well, before we even tell Willie why we want this product listed in either in your stores, let's just go back and just tell why this product is actually making a change. And CK kept on telling us and insisting why Kenya. The whole Build Kenya agenda comes a lot from him. He's that man who was so strict about why should you. And that's why you live and find. We don't keep, for example, I see the supermarkets that will actually keep milk from Uganda or elsewhere. It's not like it's bad, but before you actually, and this was actually his point of thought, if you are selling a buy-made Kenya, that factory person is the same person who's going to still come back to your supermarket, buy your everyday bit. That milk that is sold to the dairy that end up selling in your shelf, when you actually paid him, he's going to come back, buy the pencil and books. When you're doing it from the other outside world. So before we even have, and those are the things you need to even come and sit down and challenge government and other guys. The tale of buy Kenya, build Kenya should come and start from the consumption side rather than actually from the production side. And anyway, we will get there. We will get there. But this is all my hand. And when CK actually had this thing of whenever he wanted to pass a point, he'll also hold your hand and really press it.
That feels like a very African parent thing to do. You know, when you can feel the pain up in your arm and you're just like, oh my God, this is so uncomfortable, but the point has been passed across.
The point that we pass up. And that's where we actually starting off. Who are these next Kenyan guys like CK and doing exactly what he told us to do? There we are.
It's a very psychological thing as well, what he was doing, because then it imprints whatever he's saying in your memory, like chewing gum while you're studying. Yes. And when you go to the exam, you chew the same flavor of gum. It kind of provokes the memory. So he was always into, his psychology was on a different level as well, which reminds me, there was a driver or cab guy, he just randomly got into a cab and we were talking and then mentioned, Kirubi comes up, you get 2 rivers, Chris Kirubi. And then he started telling me a funny story. Kirubi actually met this random cab guy standing somewhere. They got to talking and Kirubi was like, listen, do not be afraid of partnering with people to go into business. People think that they can do it on their own. Do not be caught up in that. And I'm sitting here, I'm looking at you, talking about CK, and I'm wondering, what did you take from the things you learned that led you down this path to become a founder of Jaza Supermarkets?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, to even just quickly start off, when we were actually starting Jaza, there were 2 different ones. One, we saw the gap. And the gap was quite clear. There's a gap between the very big stores, and then down there there's what you call the wholesalers and all. There was a gap in between here for mid-scale shop sizes. If you can remember, similar to what Uchumi had, you remember the Uchumi spot on for the family in the estates. But the problem that was there was whoever who came in there for the convenience they were quite expensive. So there was a need to do a mid-store supermarket, cheaper than the big stores.
Correct.
In the estate, and now having your everyday, that this is my store kind of thing.
Yes.
And of course, the first thing to do was to get level-minded people to work together with. And I actually I have to say, quite blessed to actually have possibly some of the best shareholders working together, because we're actually a group of 5 Kenyans. Who all just came out and just said, hey, Appa, we are going to do this. This is going to be a Kenyan story that is going to be told forever. And not only that, we are going to start doing brands. And I remember, again, I'll have to go back to CK when we were actually trying to create our private label brands, and we really heavily discussed. In fact, at one particular point, we were just about to do Coke 1.35 liter,
Uh-huh.
just specific for him, only for one chain.
Oh.
Because he was like, instead of keeping on coming asking for discounts here every day, why don't you just come and do a pack specific to yourself, and then no, you deal with it. It becomes your and guess what? It's actually a South African company did it from that talk. And those things that you're just saying, we will start changing. And remember, Michael Joseph, Kenyans are unique in their way of thinking and all
Yes.
those.
Yes.
It's applying that whole school of thought and just bringing it all out and just saying, hey, here we are. And that's why the Jaza story.
You know, the Jaza story is very interesting. Yeah, you guys are a little over a year old.
Yes.
And you know, in the grand scheme of how the retail space is shaped, you are literally muscling with giants.
Yeah.
You have a diverse story. We are not going to speak about that because you are a titan by yourself. You have quite the story, having grown to leaps and bounds in terms of expansion of that retail. Then you choose to carve out something for yourself within a very unique space, within a very unique demographic. You rank yourself as a startup. But then again, 1 year into business, things start happening around the economy. There's protests. There's all manner of things that, of course, destabilize your line of business. Please walk us through that, because I can only imagine the jitters for you and your shareholders, where you're like, my goodness, how are we even supposed to survive this?
I have to say, when you actually start creating up the mood and the economic environment and the consumption habits, and I say this without shuddering because I'm actually speaking from facts, the consumption has actually kind of slumped in the market for the last 1.5 years. So, and that is the same time that you actually started off. So we are currently at 20 stores, but our projection by now will have been 37 stores. You know how you are in the presenter deck. Anytime I go for a board meeting, the first thing they start is, Willie, you had said you shall be. Then now you have to start. It's because of the macroeconomic environment. Yes, things have been tough. But and of course, over and above that is those things like during, for example, the Mandamano period and all those are things. There's a disruption of on the supply chain.
Correct.
You will not get goods being supplied to you on time. You will not get some of your stores. You have to shut them out. The most important thing at that point is the safety of your customers and staff. So at times you have to say, hey, staff guys, you have to go. We are closing this store. Again, let people vent out and actually communicate. But there is another spiral effect backwards. So you had already set up, for example, an LPO that said, I need 100 pieces of XYZ. You had factored in that day. That day now you won't pick it up. So you're affecting that guy who's doing production. You now have excess stock. You have to now delay. So there are all these disruptions that actually come up with that. Though at the same time, on one side we might say, hey, struggling with that supply chain bit, but at the same time there's benefit also for us being a retailer in the in the estate, meaning in our Kileleshwa store, for example, or our current store or Langata store, people know are at home and they'll actually possibly consume more than going to the big malls, which most probably will.
Correct.
So net there's some, I cannot call it again, but there's it nets off.
Yes.
But the disruptions and all that, of course, then again you have to people have reasons to protest, and it's very good to actually have people expressing themselves. We have to be proud of ourselves as a country that we can actually go out there and just say. But the question then begs, when guys infiltrate it, then you also have to secure your store. How do you secure your store? Again, now you have to start getting some capex budget that you never had to put in extra metal sheets and all sorts of things. You have to say, oh, this protest, this location or that location, I'm going to exit all the they go for alcohol. The alcohol has to be exported out, so there's no alcohol point or anything, and then so it's all these disruptions and all that come in with that, which affect your business OPEX cost that you did not budget for. And retail is very low margin, and I have to say, it was quite sad seeing a supermarket like County Supermarkets in Moranga and all this. You have 3 stores all at once just completely vanished.
Engulfed,
or what they actually did to some of the Naiva stores and all. It's wrong. It's wrong. I think what we need to have people getting into that particular way of the maturity which we had, which people can go out. communicate and
and
protest,
communicate,
but
yeah.
let's not destroy people's properties. Yeah, it's not an insurance gig here. It's not anything else. It's our country, and it's the same people, because you affect the same. Those guys are no longer going to be working. We're going to be having a supply chain distorted and all that. So there's quite a bit that actually distorts when it actually comes to that.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just listening to you, and a few questions are just popping into my mind. So first and foremost, you were talking about 20.
Yes.
Right now, you
Yes.
were projected it to be, what, 37?
That's 7, yes.
So 17
Yes.
less.
Yes.
How are you handling that? What's the catch-up plan, if any?
Yeah, we are heavily looking for sites, and if anybody can actually hear us here, please reach out to Jaza. We are heavily looking for sites anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000 square foot, kind of stores in the neighborhoods, because you want to be in the neighborhood. If I was to give you a kind of brief of where we are, we started off in Buruburu with 2 stores. We are in Langata, we are in Karen, we are in Kileleshwa, but at the same time we're in Kayole, we are in Muthega, we are in 87. We are the first retailer, proud to say so, only in Nairobi, who was cut across all the way, because we're in Kitusuri here. And at the same time I'm in Kayole, at the same price point of milk at 44 shillings.
That's
Yes.
leading me to the second question, because you've just jumped into it, because I wanted to get a feel
Yes.
of, because let's be real, whether we have this, as we were speaking with Felaris just yesterday, this bubble middle class, which is really
Yeah.
non-existent in the
No.
real essence.
Yeah.
You have people who are considered you should live a certain lifestyle, you
Yes.
guys can afford a certain cost, some products you can't be sold at this. The way companies will have
Yeah.
the same product, different places, different cost, and then you come up with low cost, and it really strikes a string, strums a string at the guitar, because for every single one of us, this economy is hitting in a way that's unbelievable. Was this part of your thinking as you decided where you'll venture?
Absolutely, and you got shocks. When we actually started, we knew we were going to heavily start on the low end of the market. And this is where the Langata store comes in. So we go in, we set up in Buruburu, of course, middle, what you can actually call, because of the quite a lot of homeowners. Then you go now to Kayole, and we do pipeline also. And then all at once we just get a nice store at Langata, and then we see, hey, wait a minute, Langata store at 1,700 square foot is doing almost 2 times more than pipeline, where we have people. And why? Just to middle class are the ones who are interested in this particular. They understand the cost saving bit. They understand why milk is 44, not 67. They understand why this tissue is on a white, nice premium tissue that is lower than. And before long, that's when you start saying, "Oh, get a minute, let's try out in Karen store." Already our number 1 store. Let's try out in Kitusuru. Finally, we're actually in Kileleshwa and
Kasuku Center.
Kasuku Center, yes.
Yeah.
At the same time, not forgetting where we came from, so that's why we still opened up in 87, because 87 actually really, all the markets somehow seem to actually work, and we now have what we can actually call brand yet, as in our, it's a Kenyan, what exactly we wanted, a brand that people can just say, hey, this is my store, this is my local store, my neighborhood proper store, and they don't take advantage of me, because, for example, if you go to a place like Gekambura, that's near Kikuyu, yes, there's no other supermarket. We have the option of actually upping our price, but we choose not to. We choose to actually keep to the truth of what exactly we are and what we stand for, and there you are.
And companies and organizations like Jaza really speak to the economic realities that every Kenyan is facing. And I'm happy that you actually even have drawn comparisons to the different kind of demographics you have spread across the city. You do have, and I know of enough people who you'd ideally label as having enough disposable income to be able to spend like on premium products. But these are your same people who will choose to go shop in bulk in the different neighborhoods where they know the price is something that is well balanced. So someone lives, say, for example, in Kileleshwa, but will go shop all the way in Eastlands because they know they will get value for their shilling and they'll be able to shop in bulk.
Absolutely.
So given that you feel in that space, I think it was the time. We've seen other retail chains that would be more or less like your tier 1 stores that then are now tapping into the discount space where they're actually giving discounts.
Can I pick your brains both? We're about to go into sports news, and I want to leave you thinking about something. How we can relate what we're learning from Jaza supermarkets and the Generation Z right now. There's a correlation, especially from the point that Philaris has just pointed out, and we will be right back to talk about that.
Yo, when the sun sets, the hype rises. Straight from the concrete jungle of New York to the streets of Nairobi. Your girl Wanjira Lungar is bringing that raw energy 4 nights a week. Monday through Thursday, 7 to 10 p.m. We're serving up that premium hip-hop lifestyle. This is The Hype, where culture meets class. But wait, we ain't done.
Another one.
Fridays, that's when we hit you with the big bounce. 2 hours of non-stop fire, where Capital's Elite Squad turn your speakers into pure dynamite. Because real ones know this is where the culture lives. Weeknights 7 to 10, Fridays bounce till 9. Only on Capital FM. We don't just play, we stay lit. Capital Sports Update, where sports is taken seriously.
All right, so Rwanda's Celestine Nsazuera and Golf Park's David Waku surged to the top of the leaderboard on day 2 of the Sunshine Development Tour East Africa Swing at Nyali Golf Club and Country Club, I should add, following impressive second-round performances in significantly improved weather because it was really, really bad in Coast recently. Anyway, Nsazuera, who had started the day at 3 over par, put together a composed round of 3 under par 6-8 to finish on level par 142 overall, securing a share of the lead heading into today's final round. And solo third is Ruiru leg champion Joroge Kibo, who posted a 2 under par 69 to move to 1 over par 143. Speaking of golf, a quick one, Willie, Kimmani, do you play golf?
Yes, I'm a single handicapper.
Of course you play golf. Of course the business owner plays golf. There we go. Kenya's women's tennis team delivered another confident performance. What's your handicap?
8.9.
Whoa, sorry. The women's tennis team delivered another confident performance at the ongoing Billie Jean King Cup Africa Group 3 in Namibia with a commanding 3-0 sweep over Algeria. And 3-love sweep, I should say, over Nigeria, marking their second consecutive clean win at the tournament. The victory comes just a day after Kenya dismantled Tunisia by the same scoreline, by the way, confirming the team's unbeaten run and firm grip on their pool as they head into a crucial final tie, which will be against Zimbabwe. Melissa Nanjala, who has continued to rise in form throughout the tournament, set the tone with a composed and clinical straight sets victory of 6-2, 7-6 over Algeria's Melissa Rhyme Kerfa.
Capital Sports Update. Up to the minute sports, where sports is taken seriously. Capital Traffic and Travel.
You know, if you're hitting those roads, just like Jack did, I love doing that. Now unatembea kama una insurance, man, this is me calling you out because the people that you need to be hitting up right now is NCBA Insurance. Well, they used to go by the name AIG Kenya, but what's in a name? Change of a name is good, and that is what NCBA Insurance is here communicating to you. And listen, for all your insurance requirements, we're talking about motor health, cyber insurance, which I'm pretty sure people like Willie here would be very, very happy to hear about. All you have to do is visit ncbagroup.com/insurance, and then once you're there, you pick on the best product for you. And usiendeshe huko gari ya 10 million and then uko na third party insurance, you don't have insurance, you embarrassment on the road, you have to bribe a cop, you what. And can I tell you something interesting that I saw yesterday on the socials, that according to EACC, who by the way yesterday just unleashed the mother of all data, one of them was, of course, the institutions by ranking, office of the presidents being one of them, no surprises there. But the rate of a bribe, the average rate of a bribe has gone down from 11,000 shillings to 4,000 shillings. Begs the question, nani analipa bribe 11k? You who's driving a 10 million car and you don't have insurance. We are speaking to you right now. What's in the name? Ask the good people at NCB Insurance, who used to go by the name AIG Kenya, now NCB Insurance.
Make sure you visit that page, right? And you have plenty of time to do that as long as you're not the one who's driving. If you are the one who's driving, then focus on the road, especially if you're on Langata Road. Traffic building up, 7-minute delay on the 104, A104 to be exact. Traffic also slowing you down for 5 minutes, 13 minutes slow down on the A2. That's Thika Road, as Felaris has constantly said. It is looking crazy on those roads. Meanwhile, we're here with Willie Kimmani giving you more information and also some great music coming your way, courtesy of the one and only DJ Schwaz.
Capital Traffic and Travel. This is Capital in the Morning Breakfast Show.
The best mix of music. Capital FM.
I'm vanilla, baby. But I ain't no baby. She 28, telling me I'm still a baby. I get love in Detroit like Skilla, baby. And the thing about your boy is I don't know. You can't tie me down, but you can whip your lovin' on me. That's right, whip your lovin' on me. Young Jackaka, Rico like Suave, Young Enrique, speaking at AKA. She's an alpha, but not around your boy. She get quiet around you. I don't know what you heard or what you thought about your boy, but they lied about your boy. Going dumb and it's something idiotic about your boy. She wearing cheetah print. That's how bad she won't be spotted around your boy. I've been a little baby, but I ain't no baby. She 28, telling me I'm still a baby. I get love in Detroit like Skilla, baby. I've been a throw up the sinner. And I can put you in
First class up in the sky.
I can put you in
First class up in the sky.
I've been a throw up the sinner. And I can put you in
First class up in the sky.
I can put you in
First class up in the sky.
Oh my goodness, DJ Schwaz, hey, can't wait for 9 o'clock through to 10 o'clock. You'll be enjoying the dance mode that we'll be engaging you in. First class, there's a song, I can put you in first class. I can't say that, but Willie can. Willie can tell you, I'm gonna put you in first class. Yeah, there are lanes to this. Now we were talking earlier on, Willie, about going to areas that are traditionally considered uptown areas.
Yep.
And some people, when your business is for the lower side of town and the upper side of town, there was a clear tape. Now the lines seemingly blurred, and Jaza Jaza Supermarket has completely erased that line. And it made me think, which is what I was asking you guys to pick your brain. Have you noticed that back in the day, our time, we used to think like you wanted shoes, you had to dress in a certain way, you had to look dope in order to fit in. But this generation now, my kids, no matter what I tell them to buy, no matter where I take them, they will look for things and then they'll go home and wear the same old hoodies, and it's oversized and in Crocs. They really don't care about being identified in a certain class. Could that have played a part? Is that not just the generation but the market itself?
Absolutely. What you're actually seeing is a lot of guys running away from choice to value. And brands affiliation, and especially where I'll keep on giving this particular bit. Even if you go to a 5-star hotel or a normal restaurant, you want to use the bathroom, you don't choose the tissue paper that's there. It's the same thing when you're actually going to the aisles. At that particular point, then you're looking for what is my value tissue, what is it actually giving. And as you rightfully said, just I was in Kileleshwa roundabout, and I just took my time and said that you'll notice the boda and the young guys just on phone behind, just WhatsApping or whatever he's doing, or on the socials, just the traditional way of a very nice young lady, beautiful lady will actually be on a motorbike. It's no longer there.
Yes.
It's they're on the bikes. They will come. They'll actually choose whatever, and there is that complete change of how, and the Kenyan consumer is completely changing.
Remember that trend?
Yes.
Where this generation was like, me at work, and they'd be showing the jobs they do. People would go like, I can't be known to be doing this. They're like, no, mimi na chimba, mimi washa, mimi uza samaki, mimi niko na kibanda, and it's just mind blowing how that mentality is changing. I love it.
It's to answer your question. Biggest so we have the biggest youth population, right? More than 60%, and these are the people that you're talking about, not playing to the optics of what the older generation was all about. Okay, for me to have gotten to a certain level of self-actualization or whatever, is I need to drive this, I need to wear this, I need to live here. This generation doesn't care. If anything, they're very conscious about so many things. But even just adding to that statistic, you're looking at a ballooning informal sector that then has a very inconsistent income. You're looking at people earning about 250 to 300 shillings a day. That is your vast majority. So when you come and occupy with this space where you're saying, listen, I see you, I hear you, you don't have the millions to spend on big brands, because a brand is just a name, but quality unapata tu ni ile ile. So you used to go buy a certain brand of toothpaste, and then you start buying this other thing where you discover there's a discount on it, and you're like, oh, my teeth still look white. So what's the difference here? And I think that is what we're speaking to here, and the reality that is not only just here in Kenya, but across the world, where you're seeing shifting consumer habits. I want to read a comment here by one J McCormick, who sent in and give us feedback on X, saying Jaza supermarkets are most a lifesaver, very convenient and pocket friendly. Gikambura is my branch, which is one of the branches that you mentioned. So when you get feedback like this, I do really relate to it.
Absolutely. And the price aspect is a seller, but it can't be the only thing, because we have insane formal and informal competition in the market. What apart from the price? Because everyone else can decide, okay, let's lower our prices. How do you intend to keep ahead of the rest?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's one key thing that people have to start doing things differently. We have kept the price of our milk at 44 shillings for more than 1 year. Nobody has ever done that. Even in all my years in retail, from 2006, we've never seen that bit. And of course, milk prices must have come up and down and all that. That means at times, there was a time our margins completely shrunk. What we have actually tried to do is, instead of coming in and doing way deeper offers and all that, is come up with a proper plan on how to actually reward who we can actually call our Jaza clan. And so what have we done? We've come up with proper reward card. And in this card, you who is a member, you always have your everyday lower price permanently. So instead of giving you points, let me give you an everyday price. You'll actually see quite clearly that Dairy Best is 69 shillings, but for you, every day is 64. You are assured, you are guaranteed, because you are a member of. And that now starts building that. So that you don't have to think about... So Mafta today was 8.75 and now it's 4 whatever, and then back again. No, here you have your everyday proper price. But at the same time, not to say we will not do those bulk discounts. We'll do the bulk discounts probably over the weekends and all that. But in a major sense, we have now this part where you have, and we are the first guys to do that, where you actually have all the products, or you actually have a different price point.
I find that very interesting, because loyalty programs have always just kind of just always been the same.
Yes.
Yeah, copy paste. So these are very interesting model, and it takes me back to something that I saw yesterday, which is the price of unga, which has of course shot up. So my question to you is, when there's fluctuations on certain commodities, you're looking at either rice, unga, or whatever, what is the commitment that Jaza has that regardless of what is happening in the market, that we are able to take care of you as a consumer, that you can walk into a Jaza supermarket and you're always guaranteed that price of unga will never shift?
Yeah, so in exchange for the frill of a shop that looks all this nice glaring and lights that and whatever the most shiniest tiles and all sorts of things, we are giving up those frills to actually on our OPEX to actually pass it to the customer. And that means also we're also cutting down our margin. So we keep a lower margin than most of the other retailers and of keeping our operational cost completely low. So we won't have those frills. When you go into a store, don't go into the store expecting to see, I don't know, some floating nice stuff. Tumekuja kununua.
We're here to
the
shop
funniest
and
thing we
shop.
have is our card. You can see it's even embossed and all that.
Oh,
Proper
wow.
card with a chip, and this is
It's like a bank card.
yes, it's like a bank card. As in, what we're trying to, as much as possible, do is keep our cost low, and pass that benefit completely. And also in our operational excellence, what we have done is we have centralized our model. So all the suppliers supply us at the center, and that then we distribute on their behalf. And any benefit they actually give us, we pass it to the consumer. So you will not find in our stores that 1,000,001 trucks coming in. No. Everything is at our center in Mombasa Road, and then from there we now distribute ourselves. Most of our stores are 24 hours. So at night we're doing that delivery in there. We're changing the way retail is done in this country.
That reward program, that's actually something I want to go back to as a
Yes.
customer. What does it take for me to join it? By the way, the card is really dope.
Yes.
Slick. Just dope.
Yeah.
Really.
Yes.
But forget how it looks. It's what comes with it that I'm more interested. How do you become a Jaza Club member?
You just walk in. It's a free card. And I know it's a quite expensive card, but yes, we say this is actually those lifetime benefit that you'll actually get from over time with this particular customer on the spend. So we actually just put it up all the, on one particular cost.
Philaris has just said, talked about, sorry to interrupt you, Philaris, she's just spoken about, leading towards what Jay has said, feedback.
Yeah,
We
feedback.
value that here at
Yes.
Capital. In fact, we have this promotion going on, which we would encourage you to come and check out, click on the link, and actually give feedback, because it's all about the customer, who
Yes.
you are
Yeah.
serving.
Yeah.
We tend to forget that in business and
Yes,
think
yes.
it's about us. It's actually about what the customer wants. What's the feedback? Do you even have a system in which you can actually hear from the real customer?
Absolutely. The first thing we did was actually come up with a very easy number, 07 4000 2000. Which is a proper feedback number and also a shopping number. We were the first guys to do WhatsApp e-commerce, and within that you actually listen in. But the most your point of truth, the moment of truth in most supermarkets is at the till level, where you have at the till itself a customer when he's actually communicating directly to the cashier. At that point is actually when you actually get your true moment of truth. Yes.
It's we keep seeing retail stores, not just here locally but even across the world. Think about your Walmarts, for example. Then we have the disease that kind of plagues us here locally, where it you expand to a certain level and then it just bursts that bubble. So maybe I'd want you to speak about what you see the retail space shaping up to be, what the vision looks like in terms of expansion, and really just the big picture here, but also adapting to shifting consumer habits. We've seen a lot of people now preferring to shop e-commerce.
Yep.
For example, I hate going to physical stores. I know it's an option where you get to select, pick, but I am more of that person who prefers convenience.
Yep.
So maybe let's speak to the business aspect of anyone playing within the retail space, what the big picture looks like, consumer habits, and everything in between.
Yeah. So the retail market is going to change, and of course we say someone wants to actually reorder online that pizza that he already had. He wants to hear that hi-fi sound first, but then he can actually go and order it online. So physical stores are here to stay because of that particular engagement, because there's no way you want to feel that fabric.
Correct.
But then after now you actually get that particular conviction that this is my rightful place, then that goes. So during COVID, we will have expected to have had a crazy blow up on e-commerce. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
But over time now, and especially now with the Gen Zs and things changing, you're now starting to see that, including what I can actually call that WhatsApp commerce within the estates. We have had to buy physical bikes just to get orders from our WhatsApp community, because now guys have to, and it's more like 4-5 blocks just down the road, but guys are still just doing that whole, since I can be able to order, why do I have to even go to that? So that's going to be changing quite a bit. The retail space, the shelf is shrinking. We don't have many big places where we can actually do destinational malls like we are not yet, and especially, of course, with the current macroeconomic variables and all that. And when you even start going outside Nairobi, so you're going to see a lot of neighborhood stores. You're going to start seeing a lot, just like in South Africa and all that. And the way we are going to now, what is going to formalize the retail trade, you're going to start seeing the mom and pop now becoming, instead of moving from one store to 2, 3 shops, 4 shops and all that. So you expect to see more smaller units, neighborhood malls coming up and propping up, including also some of the big boys starting now to go to that particular format.
Scaling down to that level.
Yes. Yeah. So that is definitely bound to happen. If you go to a country like Turkey, where we're actually trying to ape a model called BIM, which is more similar to what Jaza has, you actually find it's all those neighborhoods. So in fact, some of them don't have even to be in the main street. They can actually be in the secondary streets and all that. And it will actually be coming back to what CK actually once told me. This is all going to be about the last mile. You will win with the machinani people at the ground, not anything else. Yeah.
It's challenging when the government comes in, the play, the part they have to play in supporting this industry, the retail industry. What do you think could be improved, if anything at all, from the side of the government?
Wow. At this point, I will rather stand, but I'll try to keep. But I actually passed this message to Lee Kenyanjui. We had a session in his office, but there's no support from government for any startup business. As in, there's no that part you can actually say government is actually helping any business to start up. And then comes in Kerry, who is supposed to be more so like, the guy who is helping out. They have a new system called eTeams, but now when you have eTeams and then you remember SARS Congress, how you'll actually go with a project you've been told this is a topic. That's the same way. Now you have to go in not knowing what KRA wants of how to connect to their system, and then now you have to present and tell you, no, that's not what you want. Instead of being the opposite, which is work with the retailers, and I assure you the eTeams, KRA eTeams or whatever project is possibly the best project that will ever get into this country. Once it's fit and they actually support it all, it's amazing. But the implementation, and then of course you have all these things like and I'm not saying in a bad way, of course you have to support local music and everybody, but you have these music bodies and all that going into the store, and their license to actually play music in a store is more expensive than the trading license.
That's crazy.
So where do we now meet that retailer and just say, hey, we can actually work with these guys? Okay, here we are a young, if someone is actually coming from outside to actually invest in this country, they get all these kind of benefits. We locals starting up, nothing, no benefit. So, and we pass that message to the CS Lee, and I hope you'll actually be able to address it in the presidential roundtable or something, where we just need to start looking at local consumption, local way of actually doing business. How do we support these local chains like Jaza and all these other smaller ones that are there that and the local entities protect us and just take us to that next bit of saying we are Kenyans for Kenyans, not Kenyans for Kenyans just when it's PR.
We play into a lot of PR and I'm happy that we call it out. As we wrap up, Willie, I want you to speak to two things. One is where the retail industry is headed. Put a pulse on it. And second is the leadership aspect for you who's in that space. You have been in that space for a while. Maybe we can close on that note.
Yeah, well, retail is actually the beauty about it. People have to eat, but also, unfortunately, at the same time, when you actually have guys maybe being taxed more or something, they will not move their houses, they'll not move their kids from where they are, but they'll actually change their consumption habit. If they're actually using a 1 kg, they'll go for 750. So we struggle. Consumption actually slumps on that bit. So we are the guys who actually. But the keyword is once the macroeconomic variables are actually good. Consumption actually goes up. Government starts spending, and you just reduce the whole noise around supply chain and everything. This country is bound to be more successful. We actually way stronger than most of the other countries like Nigeria and everyone. In fact, we're only third to South Africa and of late Mauritius and possibly Egypt. We are the fourth country biggest in modern trade. We are doing well. Even if you go to Uganda or Tanzania, they are not anywhere close to where we are in this journey. But we should be able to fasten that journey the moment we actually take it up it. And of course, to encourage everybody, leadership ain't easy. At times, a lot of listening has to actually happen, a lot of mentorship, similar to what CK did to us and all, and just giving us that nod of, hey, you can actually do better. I pray every day that the likes of Marianne also pick up that and bit, and also just mentor as many people within the whole scope and just create what you can actually call the winning country by leadership starting with us and us going out there and saying we are the Kenyans for tomorrow.
Absolutely. I see the question here from Dennis Mbogwa. Dennis, do me a favor, stick around. We'll record a video. He will answer your question. He's basically asked, what about the relationship with suppliers? We've seen supermarkets come and fall and at the detriment of suppliers. So he's asking for commitment to pay suppliers. We'll record a video. We'll put it up on our socials and we'll get him to answer other questions that you want. Send in those questions. Meanwhile, let's thank you very much, Willie Kimmani, founder, Jaza Supermarkets, for coming in, you sharing your thoughts, your expertise, your experiences, and shooting straight when it calls the government to come in and help retail business in this country.
Thank you very much.